From Daily Trust News Center, this is News Hour.
Tonight on News Hour, President Muhammadu Buhari in New Year message charges Nigerians to resist attempts by politicians to disrupt 2023 elections. Akwa Ibom State Governor Udom Emmanuel meets Wike amid PDP crisis. 54 bandits killed, 5 policemen paid supreme price in Katsina State. And on the international scene, Pope Francis to lead funeral of Benedict XVI on January 5. Hello and welcome to News Hour on Trust TV. I'm Darshan Hussaina Usman. Now the news in detail. President Muhammadu Buhari has charged Nigerians to resist attempts by politicians to disrupt the 2023 general elections. The president, in his New Year message, also urged citizens to play part in ensuring that next year's elections are free, fair, and credible. While restating his administration's commitment to conducting free and fair elections, Buhari said the collective electoral will and votes of Nigerians will be fulfilled even in the twilight moment of his administration. According to the president, his government proved its commitment to the nation's democratic ideals by signing the amended electoral acts that will guarantee credible polls. He described 2023 as an important year for Africa's most populous nation because Nigerians will go to the polls to elect credible leaders. In the same vein, the Speaker, House of Representatives Femi Gbadagbiamila, his deputy Ahmed Idris Wase, and the House Minority Leader Ndudi Elumelu have greeted Nigerians as they celebrate New Year 2023. They sent their felicitations in separate statements on Saturday. Gbadagbiamila, in a statement by his special advisor on media and publicity, Lanre Lasisi, congratulated Nigerians for witnessing the New Year 2023, adding that he is optimistic about the opportunities and possibilities that lie ahead and urged Nigerians to remain resolute and determined as a people. Similarly, the Deputy Speaker, in a statement by his Chief Press Secretary, Umar Muhammad Puma, who urged Nigerians not to despair in spite of the challenges facing the country, called on them to have faith in their leaders and continue to pray for them at all levels for wisdom to lead right. On his part, the House Minority Leader Ndudi Elumelu congratulated Nigerians on the dawning of the new year 2023 and urged them to further unite, brace up, and forge a formidable front in the determination to rescue the nation from oppressive forces. Moving on to politics, Rivers State Governor Nyesom Wike has disclosed that his relationship with Governor Udom Emmanuel of Akwa Ibom State has not diminished despite their political differences. The Rivers State Governor stressed that ideally, politics should never be allowed to create unwarranted friction between brothers. Governor Wike stated this after a private meeting with Governor Samuel Ortom of Benue State and Udom Emmanuel of Akwa Ibom State at his residence in Rumo Pirikom Obiakpo local government area of Rivers State.
It is natural that a meeting between Governor Emmanuel, who is the chairman of the People's Democratic Party Presidential Campaign Council, and 2 members of the G5 governors would raise speculations that this was about the crisis in the party. But the Rivers State governor says the meeting was completely devoid of politics.
Governor Tom and I and some of my colleagues traveled, and Governor Tom, when he heard he was coming, I said, collective wait and let us all meet. Private relationship politics is not what should divide brothers and divide friends. Everybody knows my relationship with Udom, and we'll continue to maintain that relationship. We may have different political affiliation or thinking. That should not, divide or create the brotherly love or create a gap. So, like he said, it's all of the spirit of the birth of Christ and all going to a new year, they need to continue with that relationship as brothers and friends.
The visiting governors were also quick to dismiss speculations that this was a political visit.
This is the season of love. Within this period, if you don't actually demonstrate that love, love not shown is love wasted. So I think that's what we are trying to demonstrate. Brotherly love, friendship, and then in the spirit of the season, we must visit one another. I think that's all I have to say for now.
We're going to go to 2023, and we shared among ourselves how can we best add value to our government, how can we best add value to our people, how can we do things that we help add value to our country, Nigeria. And if there are any issues in the past which we have done wrong, we look at it and say, look, let's forgive one another and move forward.
The meeting is coming a day after the Rivers State governor dared the party and insisted on endorsing another presidential candidate.
Amid speculation over Rivers State Governor Nyesom Wike's preferred presidential candidate in 2023 elections, his Secretary of State counterpart, Governor Aminu Tambuwal, says the party has lawful avenues of dealing with erring members. Since his emergence as the PDP presidential candidate earlier this year, former Vice President Atiku Abubakar has faced apathy from 5 PDP governors under the aegis of G5 or Integrity Group, who are insisting that the PDP national chairman, Iota Ayu, a northerner, must resign. Responding to allegations of meetings being held with the presidential candidate of the APC, Bola Tinubu, Wike said on Friday that he and his allies in the G5 had not struck a deal with any presidential candidate ahead of next year's election. However, Tambuwal sent a word of warning to the Rivers State governor on others allegedly planning to go against the interests of the PDP. According to a statement by Tambuwal's media advisor, Muhammad Bello, the PDP will respond to the antics of the G5 governors who are currently being speculated to be in political alliance with the presidential candidate of the APC, Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Still in politics, the Action Democratic Party has linked the challenges faced by Nigerians across all sectors to bad governance occasioned by both the ruling APC and the main opposition PDP. National chairman and presidential candidate of the party, Yusuf Sani, stated this during his end-of-year address to journalists at the party's national headquarters in Abuja. Trust TV's Sagir Ibrahim was there and filed in this report.
The chairman accused both parties of leaving negative footprints on the nation through encouragement of looting, among other negative tendencies. He also accused the All Progressives Congress of worsening the nation's situation through what he described as reckless spendings and needless loans.
The People's Democratic Party, PDP, and the contraption known as the All Progressive Congress, APC, are squarely and pointedly to blame for the unprecedented calamity that has befallen the country within the period. The pathetic and parlous condition in all facets of our national life illustrates the negative footprint of the two political parties. Rather than mitigating the endemic corruption, the elected representatives in all arms of government engaged in brazen and unabashed looting and defoliating our common patrimony. These negative and dangerous tendencies have unfortunately been elevated to a frightening height by the APC-led government that has been in power since 2015.
On the CBN governor and his policies, the ADP presidential candidate, however, passed a vote of no confidence on his stewardship.
Where was it in the constitution that we must keep this CBN governor? And throw everything, into some crisis that nobody knows what will be the end of it. This man has not shown any evidence, anything, slightest thing that will make you to say you trust him on what he's going to do. And the security agencies have come out to even confirm that. You can see the mismatch. You can see how our monetary policy has been managed in such a shamble way that we are in this crisis. Our naira is like a yo-yo, simply because somebody employed to that job refused, abandoned the job as a politicking.
He, however, appealed to Nigerians to remain resilient while assuring them that the nation is at a threshold of a new dawn, should his party emerge victorious in the presidential election come 2023. Sagir Ibrahim, Trust TV News, Abuja.
The All Progressives Congress presidential candidate Bola Tinubu has called on politicians across the country to see politics as an avenue to foster national unity and not an opportunity to cause conflict. The APC presidential candidate made the call in Lafia, the Nasarawa state capital, during a rally organized by the Miyetti Allah Kautal Hore to endorse him and his running mate Kashim Shettima. The report.
The APC presidential candidate, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, represented by his running mate, Kashim Shettima, explained that what bound the country together supersedes what will divide the nation and called on Nigerians to see politics as a unifying factor and not the other way around. Tinubu also used the event to explain that a possible mega of the G5 PDP governors will help to boost the ruling party's chance in the 2023 election.
We are extremely delighted by the endorsement. The Fulanis have the single largest block votes in the north. So it's not a little achievement. We truly appreciate the gesture and be rest assured that we reciprocate their kind gesture by seeing to it that the lives and properties of the citizenry are adequately protected and promoted. So we believe that what binds us together as a nation supersedes whatever that divides us. Politics should be a source for national unity, not a cause for conflict. If their support materializes, which I hope and believe that it will, I think it's going to be a game changer. We believe that the country is going to be better off.
National President of Miyetti Allah Kautal Hore said due to the track record of the APC presidential candidate and his running mate, the Fulani community in the country decided to endorse them as their preferred choice among other candidates. Fulani in Nigeria are for APC, and we are voting the party from top to bottom. After extensive discussions, leaders of Fulani across the country have all agreed to elect all APC candidates. In their goodwill messages, APC National Chairman Abdullahi Adamu and Nasarawa State Governor Abdullahi Sule expressed gratitude for the endorsement by the Fulani community in the country. May God bless all of you for accepting to vote for us. I appreciate you for the support you have pledged to give us. And like you said, by God's grace, Bola Ahmed Tinubu and his running mate Kashim Shettima will be sworn in on 29 May 2023. The rally had in attendance representatives of the Fulani community from the 36 states of the Federation and Federal Capital Territory.
On security, 13 abductees have been rescued by the joint security operatives in Gurara and Paikoro local government areas of Niger State. The Commissioner for Internal Security and Humanitarian Affairs of the state, Emmanuel Umar, said in Mina that among the rescued victims were 9 women and 3 men. Umar said they were rescued on Friday following a tip-off that some bandits were sighted around Bonu, Gwalu and Chimbi areas of Gurara and Paikoro local government areas. He said the victims were taken to a government medical facility for medical checks before they were reunited with their families. The Commissioner appreciated the efforts of security agencies and communities for their support and cooperation, urging them not to relent until they get rid of criminals in the state. The Inspector General of Police, Alkali Baba Usman, warned hoodlums to leave Ijesha land in Osun State, vowing to deal decisively with criminals in all nooks and crannies of the country. The police chief said this in Ilesha at the inauguration of a newly built Sea Police Divisional Headquarters to address insecurity in Ijesha land. Hamid Oyegbade reports.
The activities of hoodlums, including cultists and political thugs in Osun State, particularly in Ilesha and other parts of Ijesha land, call for concern. The situation becomes more tense as the forthcoming general elections gather momentum and residents are apprehensive. The chairman of the House of Representatives Committee on Police, who is representing Ijesha South Federal Constituency, Lawrence Babatunde Ayeni, lamented that thugs and cultists are threatening the peace of Ijesha land.
The IG come to our aid, especially in Ijesha land, because we cannot even sleep. Some of I have one local government, two of it, people have decided the area. They are raising intimidation. So, and the election is coming in 2 months. So, what I'm trying to tell the security operatives now that they have to be on their feet in order to curb all this.
The leader of local hunters in the state, Ahmed Nureni, pledged more support for police to rid the state of criminal elements.
That we all local security, most especially hunters, we are there to support Nigeria police and all the other security agencies to give them a good information on bandits, on hoodlums, on thugs.
I would still advise them that they should make sure that they maintain peace and order in Ijesha land, even in Osun and Nigeria as a whole. The youth, they are the leaders of tomorrow. We don't need to cause any problem within ourselves. We are one family in Ijesha land.
The IGP, who was represented by the Deputy Inspector General of Police, Johnson Kokumo, assured the people of Ijesha land of adequate security in the area and other flashpoints across the country.
You should please endeavor to imbibe the community policing philosophy of the current administration. That is to say, the Inspector General of Police will want the active participation of members of the public in providing adequate security for lives and property in their various communities.
Traditional rulers and people of Ijesha land expressed optimism that the new divisional police headquarters will boost security in the area. Amit Ojegbade, Trust TV News, Osogbo.
As Nigerians continue to feel the impact of the dwindling economy across the country, analysts are worried about the fall in the living standard of many Nigerians. The economic indicators seem very disturbing in some states, as many states are grappling with high unemployment rate, debt, and general poverty. Bello Musa in this report examines what the Kaduna state government is doing to finance the 2023 budget despite the economic woes.
The persistent increase in unemployment across the country has continued to fuel insecurity, youth restiveness, low output, and slow economic growth. Many states across the country are grappling with huge debt, while paying salaries have become a Herculean task. The question often asked by experts is how Kaduna State finances her budget in view of the scarce resources and huge debt.
I gave a breakdown of our revenue profile and where we're expecting this funds. We have continued to grow our IGR, which is really critical to the funding of our budget in the state. And this year we hope to do much better with that also. We have been able to block a lot of leakages.
The Kaduna State budget for 2023 is tagged Budget of Continuous Growth and Development. The education sector has the highest allocation of 29%, while health is 16.5% of the total budget. The concerns of many stakeholders is how the state government intends to implement the budget.
The 2023 budget, called the Budget of Continuous Growth and Development, epitomizes continuity of development while strategizing on minimizing economic shocks occasioned by the unintended effects of policy reforms. The budget is focused on cushioning the negative effects by prioritizing human capital and social development and the completion of ongoing projects with a view to consolidating the achievements of the past 7 years that would enable a smooth transition of government.
The Kaduna State government says the budget is geared toward funding critical infrastructure across the state, improving citizens' well-being, and also retain economic competitiveness. Bello Musa, Trust TV News, Kaduna.
Thank you, Bello Musa, for that report. Moving on, the Plateau State Police Command has created another police divisional headquarters in Gindiri district of Mangu Local Council to tackle rising cases of attacks in the area. Police Commissioner Bartholomew Onyeka said the new division is meant to prevent further attacks on communities that have suffered from frequent attacks in recent times. Ado Musa completes the report.
The creation of the new police division in Gindiri is coming barely 4 months after the police commissioner established a new divisional police headquarters in Basha district of Wase local government area of the state, following incessant attacks and killings in the area. The police commissioner told Gindiri community that policing is everybody's business. He called on all and sundry to support the police to get rid of crime in the area.
I cannot see how a traditional ruler will be taken away from his chiefdom and taken to a place to go and remain for a few days. It's never done. It's an insult to you people. And since then, I've been waiting to see if you people will come up with reasonable information that will help me. Nobody has come. We will always talk about criminals. There is no criminal that was sent from heaven down to the earth here. They are our brothers and sisters. Is that not so? And they live with us and they eat with us. They dine with us. They do Christmas and New Year together with us. Are you telling me you don't know them?
The paramount ruler of the area, Sumpiam Charles Mato, a victim of kidnap for ransom, commended police authorities and state government for creation of the division.
So we thank the police commissioner. When we approached him, he took it as a personal assignment. And we thank God today we are commissioning a divisional headquarters to the honor and glory of God. Honestly, our people have done their best, but I want you to know that security is everybody's business. We cannot leave this place with the police alone. We have to support the place and ensure that this place operates properly.
Residents hope that the new police division will prevent government attacks in the area. Ado Musa, Trust TV News, Jos.
Still on security, Nasarawa State Police Command says it has arrested 810 suspected criminals in the state from January to December 2022. The State Commissioner of Police, Mayaki Muhammad Baba, disclosed this at a press briefing to present the command's achievements for 2022 in Lafia. Abubakar Abdullahi sent in this report as presented from our studio.
The Nasarawa State Police Commissioner Mayaki Mohammed Baba, while giving the breakdown of the arrested suspects, said their offenses included armed robbery, kidnapping, cultism, rape, among other sundry offenses.
The command from January to December 2022 has recorded remarkable achievements in its fight against criminality. Below are the summary. Number of armed robbery suspects arrested, 136. Number of suspect kidnappers arrested, 112. Number of firearms recovered, 44. Number of live ammunition recovered, 704. Number of motorcycles recovered, 6. Number of vehicles recovered, 5. Number of cultists arrested, 138. Number of rape suspects arrested, 59. Suspects arrested for other sundry offenses are 365.
He added that exhibits such as 600,000 naira cash, 44 firearms, 704 live ammunition, 6 motorcycles and 5 vehicles were recovered from the suspects. The Nasarawa police boss explained that 374 of the suspects were charged to court, while 23 of them were convicted for their offenses. He further said among the arrested suspects were cultists from tertiary institutions who came to the Federal University Lafia to initiate others.
Some of them are students of University of Lafia. Some are from other institutions. They came to this place, Lafia University, to carry out initiation. So they are from various institutions, not only Lafia, but Lafia happened to be the coordinator. He's from Lafia University, who invited those students from other various universities to come for initiation. There is a existing cultists known as Black Axe, and some other cultists are also in existence. So far, so good. We are still investigating, and we know very well that if they are well involved, definitely we follow the due process of the law.
Mohammed Baba also added that investigations for the remaining cases were ongoing, while the suspects would be charged to court when completed. The Commissioner of Police attributed the success recorded by the command to the support by members of the public, traditional rulers, other security agencies, and the media.
The presidency on Saturday said a one-hour documentary on President Muhammadu Buhari will air on Sunday, January 1st, 2023 and Monday, January 2nd, 2023. According to a statement by the Senior Special Assistant to the President on Media and Publicity, Garba Shehu, the documentary titled Essential Muhammadu Buhari is a film portrait of the President, chronicling his life and philosophy, told in his own words and by some family members, friends and associates. Essential Muhammadu Buhari will be shown on channels TV, TVC, NTA, Arise and Trust TV. The documentary is scheduled to air on Trust TV from 6 to 7 p.m. on January 2nd, 2023. The presidential spokesman stated that the documentary will also show on YouTube. You're watching News Hour on Trust TV. Coming up after the break. How parents' roles influence children's professional paths. Do stay.
This is Trust TV, documenting the Nigerian story.
Ba a iya sutura da abinci jin daɗin duniyar mu ya ƙare. Za ka iya more rayuwarka da kayan alfarma na kamfanin Vento Furniture kamar su Ladi Corner Sets, Escape Sofa Sets, Acadia Sofa, Piano Sofa Sets, Sofa Corner Sets, Vento Sofa Sets. Sannan kuma za ku iya saka ƙayatattun gadaje na alfarma a ɗakunan kamar su Gold Cream Bedroom Sets, ko kuma ku wadata falon ku da kujeru na alfarma irin su Sare Royal Set da Acadia Dining Sets. Ofishoshin ku kuwa za ku iya saka manya-manyan kujeru na kece raini domin walwala da jin daɗin ku da abokan hulɗa. Kamfanin Vento Furniture ya tanadar muku gadajen bacci na yara masu inganci, kayan ɗaki irin na angwaye da amare har ma da sarakuna. Muna da shagunan mu a gurare kamar haka: 79 Allen Avenue, Ikeja, Lagos; 7A Azikiwe Road, Port Harcourt; 25 Glover Road, Ikoyi, Lagos; Shop U1 Jabi Lake Mall, Abuja; da kuma 4330 Walker Road, Windsor, Ontario ga mazauna ƙasar Canada. Vento Furniture, mun zagaye ko ina.
That's great. It's good to see you.
Welcome back and thank you for staying with us. You're watching News Hour on Trust TV. Here's a recap of our top stories. We told you that President Buhari in New Year message charges Nigerians to resist attempts by politicians to disrupt 2023 elections. We also told you that Akwa Ibom State Governor Udom Emmanuel meets Wike amidst PDP crisis. Moving to more stories, Police Commissioner in Katsina State, Shehu Nadada, said police killed 54 bandits while 5 of his men paid the supreme price in the fight against the terrorists in the state. Nadada said this while addressing newsmen in Katsina. Abdullahi Ahmadi has details of the story.
The police command says its operatives had arrested 241 suspected bandits, kidnappers, and their informants. Among them, 239 suspects had been charged to courts, while 16 are facing investigations. Similarly, the police operatives had recovered 1,092 domestic animals consisting of cows, sheep, and goats from the terrorists.
It is absolutely imperative to warn that terrorists and their collaborators or informants should either surrender or be dealt with according to the extant laws of the land.
Also during their under review, the Katsina State Police Command had in its custody 1,102 suspects in connection with 705 reported cases. 989 cases are being prosecuted in various courts of law.
Arms and ammunition recovered, 14 AK-47 rifles, 2 locally made fabricated AK-47 rifles, 19 locally made guns, 81 rounds of 7.62 mm ammunition of AK-47 rifle.
In the fight against rapists and unnatural offenses, the command has arrested 266 suspects in 145 reported cases, out of which 260 have been charged to courts, while 6 are under investigation. The police commissioner, however, thanked the residents and the media and other stakeholders for their support, which led to the reduction in crimes and criminal activities in the state. Abdullahi Ismail, Trust Television News, Katsina.
A suspected drug dealer has been arrested in possession of 9,140 capsules of tramadol at his residence in Katsina State. Operatives of National Drug Law Enforcement Agency said the suspect, identified as Ifanye Olinta, pretends to be a motorcycle spare parts dealer at Kofar Guga quarters of Katsina Metropolis. Again, Abdullahi Ahmadi completes the report.
Parading the suspect at the headquarters of NDLEA in Katsina, the anti-drugs agency said another consignment of tramadol was also found in his vehicle at the point of his arrest. The state commandant of the NDLEA, Muhammad Ibrahim, said that the agency will not only prosecute the suspected drug supplier, but it will also confiscate his shop and his car to serve as deterrence to others.
You can imagine this quantum of drugs finding the way into the system. That's why we keep on saying that within this altered period towards election area, we are intensifying our activities, both in terms of periodic raids around the town, patrol and mop up around the entire state, not just even in Katsina town. You see my men, almost all the in and exit of the state, we are carrying out our patrol, which is very regular now. Though it's not 247, but at least we are getting somewhere.
The suspect, Ifanye Olinta, said that he was forced into the drugs business by the economic situation of the country to take care of his family. He, however, confessed to have committed the offense and pleaded with the anti-drugs operatives to temper justice with mercy.
They really caught me with it red-handed and no option, because I'm also dealing with spare parts, which is not favoring me in the way I started. That is why I involved myself into it. which I know surely if a day like this must come, and I don't have any other option than to look for.
The NDLEA boss in Katsina State, who said that the war against illicit drugs is a collective responsibility, charged residents of the state to join hands with the agency to defeat drugs trafficking. Abdullahi Ismayamadi, Trust Television News, Katsina.
Officials of the presidency have inspected the completed multi-billion naira VIP wing of the State House Clinic within the presidential villa in Abuja. Permanent Secretary, State House Tijani Umar, personal physician to the President Shoaib Rafindai, and Senior Special Assistant on Domestic Affairs Sadiki Abba inspected the 13-bed edifice. The Permanent Secretary said the hospital, which had been completed in record time, was one of President Buhari's legacy projects for the country. On the other hand, the President's personal physician said the medical facility designed to provide emergency services to VIPs in need was better late than never. Senior Special Assistant on Domestic Affairs also expressed satisfaction with the work on the site, commending the President for approving the budget for the project. President Buhari had in November 2021 approved the site for the construction of a VIP wing of the State House Clinic within the precinct of the presidential villa in Abuja. It is hoped that the hospital, which would offer Medicare to the country's president, vice president, and other officials of the government, will stop medical tourism. Kano State Governor Abdullahi Ganduje has sacked the State Commissioner for Religious Affairs, Muhammad Tahir Adam, for operating without due consultation and being disloyal to the government. Commissioner for Information and Internal Affairs, Muhammad Garba, in a statement on Saturday, explained that despite holding a sensitive office, Adam had been making unguarded utterances and behaving in a manner unbecoming of a public servant. The former commissioner was also accused of running his office as a personal business and even unilaterally reducing working days for the staff of the ministry by exempting Wednesdays and Fridays. Meanwhile, Governor Ganduje has sent the name of a nominee for screening and appointment as replacement for the erring commissioner. The replacement is Nazifi Ishaq Bichi of Bayero University, Kano. Moving away from that story, choosing a career path as a child is usually influenced by parents or guardians who intentionally direct them towards a particular profession, while others allow their children to decide for themselves. In other cases, peer influence, exposure to certain programs or events may tilt one towards a particular career. In this report, our reporter takes a look at the benefits of otherwise of choosing courses for children against their will.
Every parent usually looks forward to getting the best for their children in life. This desire often leads them into deciding what course their children would study at the tertiary level of education. Some parents in Ilorin told Trust Television what they make of choosing career paths for children and whether or not they intervened in the courses their children are studying or studied.
I feel a child is entitled to his or her opinion, and I believe they will perform better in their area of interest than me forcing an area on them. As a parent, even if a child is weak in his or her chosen area of interest, there are ways by which you can help the child. If you feel this is what a child has chosen and the child does not have a lot of strength in that area, you can employ experts in that field to kind of guide the child towards achieving their goals.
To this man, parents could at times be in the best position to choose courses for their children due to experiences garnered over the years.
My advice for parents that do influence their children to trail on their own line of profession is, I don't think it's not. I don't see it as a good act as far as I'm concerned, because as the digital age we are now, a GSS 2, GSS 3 child knows what is happening, knows what he or she wants to do. So I think if they have reasons of what they want to do, parents shouldn't influence them from getting out of their intending profession.
Zainab is presently studying to be a journalist. She says she would have preferred to be a lawyer, which is her childhood ambition, but says she was pressured by her dad to study mass communication. Although presently enjoying the course, she says she would still go for her dream course later.
Yes, actually, the profession was chosen for me. It was never my first choice. I have always wanted to be a legal practitioner. Possibly, I wanted to study combined law, criminal and Islamic law. And after I applied to a particular university, probably because I wasn't given the course, I was still ready to reapply. But rather than allowing me to reapply, they decided to choose mass communication for me. And I didn't have a choice because they are paying for it, so I had to.
Though there are good reasons for choosing careers for children according to some parents, others, however, feel children should be allowed to make that decision, especially when viewed against the background that the children understand their strengths better.
You're watching News Hour on Trust TV. We'll be right back after the break.
Trust TV, documenting the Nigerian story.
Now, as part of efforts to support Africa's goal of strengthening...
Now, looking at the activity chart, as you can see right here, a total volume of 130...
a Boko Haram crisis that at that time was restricted to Yobe.
How secure are they? You can see security men with blood.
This is the road leading up to the...
Already, if you look at England's squad, you are looking at EPL, you are looking at their names. You are not looking at...
Welcome back and thanks for staying with us. Now moving on, oil bunkering in Nigeria has continued to hamper the stability of the oil sector, resulting in the consistent inability to meet with the OPEC quota. According to data released earlier this year by the Nigerian Extractive Industries Transparency Initiative, NETI, 272.2 million barrels were lost to criminal activities, translating to over 3.038 trillion naira lost in just 1 year. In order to mitigate these huge losses, the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation Limited is partnering with local security and the Nigerian military. Chamunda Beng reports from Delta State.
The strategy of oil bunkers is to mask their activities by operating legitimate businesses. Concerned security outfits had discovered that a small filling station located in Opeta community, Delta State, was carrying out illegal refining activities. Yet it was run as a legitimate business by Blessed Corporate Oil and Gas Services Limited.
Now we got information, some intelligence that this fuel station is being used to store illegal crude oil which is taken from various destinations. They've got a tank at the back, and then they also refine this crude oil, turn it into automotive gas oil, diesel, and then start selling the diesel from these outlets. The 4 people that were arrested somehow, somewhere, they had an arrangement with fake officials that posed as government forces. And in the process of the boys thinking that they've got help, those 4 escaped. So we're still looking for them. On that same note, there's also a house at the back that is not completed, where they used to store their hoses, their equipment, drums and everything. Even some hydrocarbons are there in bags.
What we've seen here today.
As at the time we busted this place, underground we had 17,000 liters of diesel. But because of the action the government wanted to take, we had to evacuate that much diesel. We also had over 33,000 liters of crude oil, which also had to be evacuated.
The owners of the filling station, who are repeat offenders, were however able to give authorities the slip and are yet to be apprehended. It is suspected that the persons at large were helped by fake uniformed security officers. Security agents are still perplexed by the escape, but are putting in place all necessary checks and balances to prevent a reoccurrence.
What we believe is that they've been escorting the tankers. And you know, the respect we have for our security forces is so high that the moment you see somebody on uniform, there is always that goodwill to respect the person's intention. So they had left the truck, but however, I believe in the process of we apprehending them, somebody made a call. That's why they came back, to make sure they finalize the situation. So we also made a call to our own forces, whom we know are genuine, and those forces arrived to give us the right backup. I've put a lot of checks and balances. Our line of communication is much better now. The 3 battalion, we have to give them credit. They're up 24/7. There's no time I've called the CEO that he has not picked up his call. So we have instructed our people that anytime you see any military that you're not comfortable with, let's put a call through and give that particular location so that they can immediately come and give us the necessary support. We don't know where they are. They came with a vehicle and they left, and we suspect they had escorted that tanker into this place with that same vehicle.
Security agents within the community have demolished the filling station as well as the uncompleted building behind it, where illegally obtained diesel was being stored. Chamun Dabeng, Trust TV News, Delta State.
Thank you, Chairman, for that report. Now let's join Chiamaka Nwafo for business news.
The foreign exchange FX market closed for the year 2022 on Friday, with Naira losing 23.65% year-on-year against the dollar at the parallel market, popularly known as the black market. The market ended the year with the dollar selling at 714 Naira as against 565 Naira at the beginning of 2022. Demand for dollars for school fees payments, medical bills, tourism, importation of inputs and other goods are high across major commercial banks. At the investors and exporters INE Forex window, Nigeria's official FX market, Naira ended the year 2022 with 8.56% year-on-year depreciation against the dollar. The INE window closed the year with the dollar being quoted at 461 Naira 50 kobo per dollar compared to 422 Naira per dollar quoted at the beginning of the year. Meanwhile, Nigeria's external reserves declined by 8.42% year-on-year to $37.09 billion as of December 29, 2022, from $40.50 billion recorded at the beginning of the year. And in stocks, despite rising inflation and interest rate hike, the nation's equities market finished the year 2022 on a bullish run as the NGX All-Share Index appreciated by 19.98% to close the final trading day of the year on 30th December 2022 with 51,251.06 index points. The Nigerian stock market ended the year 2022 on an impressive note as investors increased their buying pressure, especially on blue-chip stocks. The all-share index gained 19.98% in 2022 compared to 6.07% in 2021 and was also positive year-to-date throughout 2022 for the first time since 2013. However, on a month-to-month basis, stocks gained 6 out of 12 months. NGX Oil and Gas was the best performer, gaining 34.60%, followed by NGX Industrial with a gain of plus 19.67%. The NGX was rated the 4th best performing in the world in terms of return on investment. And that's it on Business News. I am Chiamaka Nwafo.
Away from Nigeria, for the first time in modern history, a sitting pope will preside over his predecessor's funeral next week, with Pope Francis leading a simple ceremony for Benedict XVI, who died on Saturday. Benedict, the first pontiff to resign since the Middle Ages, had renounced the papal throne but lived within the Vatican and still wore white. The 95-year-old would have a solemn but simple funeral on Thursday, Vatican spokesman Matteo Bruni told journalists at a briefing after his death. The sudden deterioration of the ex-pope's health earlier this week sparked questions over what would happen next. The death of a pope traditionally creates a power vacuum at the top of the church. However, no such vacuum exists in this case, as Francis is in charge. Still on the international scene, a court in Mali has sentenced 3 soldiers to death in absentia and 46 others from Ivory Coast to 20 years imprisonment for conspiring against the government. The soldiers were also fined more than $3,000 and convicted of carrying and transporting weapons, Prosecutor General Laji Sara said in a statement on Friday. 49 Ivorian soldiers were arrested at the airport in Mali's capital, Bamako, in July, 3 of whom were later released. The arrests led to a diplomatic row between the neighboring countries and widespread condemnation from regional allies. The soldiers were detained when they went to work for Sahel Aviation Service, a private company contracted to work in Mali by the United Nations. Mali's military administration said the soldiers were acting as mercenaries, while Ivory Coast said they were part of a UN peacekeeping mission. And finally, in sports, Arsenal ends 2022 7 points clear of Man City atop of Premier League. Arsenal overcame a stubborn Brighton and Hove Albion 4-2 to go 7 points clear of Manchester City in Saturday's Premier League fixture. The Gunners got off to a perfect start within the first 70 seconds thanks to Bukayo Saka, who received Gabriel Martinelli's deflected strike before slotting into the back of the net. It was Arsenal's earliest away goal in the Premier League since May 2013, when Theo Walcott netted after just 20 seconds against QPR. Now we'll leave you with this. 2022 has been quite an exciting year, and now it's time to welcome a brand new one. Amongst the first countries to welcome the new year with fireworks launched are New Zealand, Australia, and Tokyo, amongst others. Well, this is all on Trust TV News Hour for the year 2022. Next year, we come back bigger. Also, don't forget to follow us across all our social media platforms. I'm Darshan Hussaina Usman. Happy New Year.